I mentioned recently about a funeral I went to here in Sydney of a very wonderful woman who'd been much loved, and her brother particularly, and some of the children and others, the men, were determined not to cry and had to apologise when they did. And I said, cry, bawl your eyes out. You've got to grieve, you've got to mourn. This is Mission Alive, and I'm Roger from the MSC Mission Office. Mourning and grieving is part of what we do as human beings. Part of what we do as Christian people, even though we have a firm belief that this dead person, this friend, this relative, is in a better place. And we say that they've gone on, they've passed over, they're with God. In other countries and places where I've worked, particularly in Papua New Guinea, and I know from other places in Africa and Asia, people really know how to mourn. They howl and they wail and they cry and they cover themselves with mud and ashes and they roll around on the ground and they really cry. Now, to a certain extent, that is a lot of show. They have to show their grief, otherwise they might be blamed for the death. A lot of different beliefs there, but they genuinely grieve. I'll tell a little story of how we did Good Friday one year when I was up in the mountains. Their custom is they put the body on a mat in the middle of the house. The body is there. And people come from other villages and family friends come. And as they come wailing. That they have different songs where they wail. And they have a type of dance. It's not an energetic dance, it's a mournful dance. And they come in that way, and they come in and they go around the body, and they do that mourning and the dancing around the body, and then they will go and sit, and then others will come. Then at some stage, the chief or someone will stand up and say some words, story of the person who died or some such. So on this Good Friday, working with the people, I said to them, and this is the first step, this is enculturation, this is trying to bring our beliefs and the gospel into the culture of the people. How do you do it? I said to them, how do you do mourning in your place? And they told me those things. And I've seen them do it when I had to go and do funerals in places. So we devised this Good Friday ceremony. At the beginning, we put a rather large crucifix with the body of Christ on a mat in the middle of the church. And the church was fairly big, and there was no seats, just the custom of the people used to sit on the floor. So there's plenty of space. So we put this the crucifix there, and then myself, some of the church leaders and some of the chiefs were sitting on the steps, and groups of people arrived in turn with this morning dance and the morning song, and they came into the church and they circled around the crucifix there in the middle of the mat, and when they'd finished they would go and sit different parts of the church. And then the next group would come and another group would come until all the groups that were to come came, and then the church was full and they're all sitting around. Now we counted that as the adoration of the cross, because they had come in and mourned and acknowledged the death of Christ in their own way. Then we had the word. This was the type of the big man, the chief, speaks. So we had the reading of the word. And then myself, as the parish priest, in the sense that big man or the chief of the parish, I spoke. Not for very long, but I spoke. So that was that part of the ceremony. And then, of course, when it happens in any gathering in Papua New Guinea, there's food. And as mourners would come to the village and mourn someone, particularly a chief or some important person. They would have to be fed. So that then followed with communion. And then we all dispersed in silence, as we normally do. So this was a way of trying to impress upon the people what happened on Good Friday. Now, that was a bit of an innovation, and we did it for 1 or 2 years. My successor decided he wasn't going to do it that way. So that's the way the church goes. Sometimes we do something significant and sometimes we don't. Anyway, thanks for being on mission, and thank you for being with Mission Alive.